My darling, look, October is the perfect month to talk about ghosting. And my book, Where Do They Go, is actually the best sales tool. Even it happens not just in the digital dating world, but it's also happening in business and friendships. I mean, I can tell you right now, I've tried from experience. I've emailed somebody that didn't get back to me in business. And I said, listen, I know we're all busy in life, but, just because it's the month of Halloween doesn't mean we need to ghost. They actually laughed and replied straight away.
So for me, as an active ghostee, what is ghosting for people that are just learning what this term is?
Exactly. So it is something that developed in the digital age. In 2018, there was a study done by the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships where a quarter of the people had been ghosted by someone, but actually a fifth of the people had also ghosted. And this means where you're online, whether it's text message, email, or even phone calls, but even on social media apps, you just choose to not get back to the person at all. So you vanish into thin air, literally like a ghost.
Have we gotten to the root cause of why people do what they do and why they don't get back to you and just, I don't know, speak to you like a normal person?
I love that you asked me that question because I am a certified wellness coach and I'm all about root cause healing and holistic healing. And a lot of my clients came to me because they couldn't deal with this disappearance. It can be really haunting, pardon the pun. But yeah, the root cause is that we are subliminally programmed by how we interact. I mean, we are so used to being conditioned to block, swipe, delete, even report. And so I always say how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you're already engaging that way online all day in your sedentary job perhaps, or 8 hours a day sitting around online, then you kind of don't realize you're doing that in real life. I think the key is to start picking up the phone and having conversations or making times to meet up again.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this. For me, when I became an active ghostee,
I can't with you.
I had to first heal for being a ghoster. Like, people ghosted me.
Yeah.
And so this book would definitely help you in those revelations. But I also want to ask in that same token, when you are healing from being ghosted, you can potentially be the ghostee. But when is there a good time to be a ghostee, in your opinion?
Yeah. And a lot of people have flipped. They have been the ghoster, then they became the ghostee, and you find yourself in that position. So, there is 50 ways to deal with disappearance in the back of the book. But let's just say there is a time where you have to ghost someone. It's usually going to be when you feel unsafe, when perhaps you do turn up to meet someone and they look nothing like their pictures. That's another feeling of perhaps being unsafe, or if you're just not being respected or you're receiving unsolicited kinds of materials. Not only would you want to ghost someone, but you might want to consider reporting or blocking or even going to the police.
Ooh.
Okay, so it's obviously when it comes to danger. So I'll put it into kind of like a real life example, I would say, is let's say we go on one date. We're talking maybe for a couple of days or so on a dating app. We go on one date and I go on the date and I'm just really not all that into you. And I feel like you might be into me, you might not. And then I just decide after one date that I'm not going to really respond. Is that considered ghosting and inappropriate in this situation? Or did we only go on one date and it's not that deep?
I know, exactly. And a lot of people get upset when people ghost them online and they haven't even met. And all you've done is have this fake relationship, if you like, online with someone that you've never met. So great question. I think if you've met up in real life, it's kind of good social etiquette just to send a message or tell them at the end of the day, I think this is going to be more friendship vibes for me or something like that. And I think my ultimate phrase is leave a person better than you found them. When you leave that person better off for the next person that's right for them, it also gives you good karma as well. But also, if you're the person on the receiving end and they just never got back to you and you thought that date went really well, you might want to approach the subject with some kind of humor, because most people are ghosting because they don't want that sweaty palmed conversation. But if you tell them that you're cool with it and you say, hey, listen, I thought Casper was supposed to be friendly, then you're not.
But there's light at the end of the tunnel for all you ghosters. You could potentially be a ghostee.
Andi, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find your book?
Yeah, it's available on Amazon, or if you want a signed copy from me, I won't ghost you. I'll actually write you a message. It's on andilew.com.
Oh, that is awesome. We have your Instagram up there for our viewers as well for more information. Should be a great book, of course, in terms of how to deal with that happening to you and then obviously not wanting to do it to others. Thank you, Andi, so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Makia, over to you. Deal with ghosting.